Good afternoon. Welcome to our 76th step in our walking tour through the Bible and our third through the book of Ruth, this very short but very important book. We're at the beginning of chapter 2 in the book of Ruth. Now, Ruth and Naomi have arrived back in Bethlehem, and people are amazed, saying, "Is this really Naomi?" And Naomi, as we know, is on her uppers. She has no income, shall we say. So the first thing that Ruth does is volunteer to go and get herself a job. Now, it's rather important to realize that in the world of the Bible, everybody worked. Strange, isn't it? We often think about the idea of women going out to work or as somehow revolutionary, somehow modern. This isn't the case at all. The women did work. And in chapter 2, we'll see that Boaz, this rich man who's a vague relation of Naomi's by marriage, has got a team of women harvesting his fields. So the harvesting of the fields is done by women, as indeed it was done in Europe until very recently, until the invention of the combine harvester. So there's nothing strange about women working. And of course, there would have been the work in the home, but this is, of course, outside the home at harvest time, all hands on deck. And it's not particularly hard work, although it would be backbreaking, I suspect. But it was the sort of work that women could do quite happily. So she goes out. Now, she hasn't got an official job, but what she can do is she can glean. That is to say, she can follow the harvesters and pick up anything they've left behind, anything that's fallen out of their sheaves, or what they've failed to harvest. Now, this was laid down by the law of Moses, that you mustn't go over your field twice. Rather, you go over your field once, and what's left behind is left for the poor. That is to say, people who don't have a field of their own. So it's a sort of like a tradition, a law that builds in a sort of a bit of social security, a bit of a safety net for those who are, like Ruth and Naomi, have nobody to look after them, the widows and the orphans. Now, Abimelech's relation is Boaz, and as it turns out, she goes into Boaz's field by chance. It does say that in chapter verse 4, chance led her to a plot of land belonging to Boaz of Elimelech's clan. And then another chance, Boaz, as it happened, had just come from Bethlehem. Now, Boaz is a landowner. He maybe has several fields, and he's not coming to this field every day. So lucky chance he comes out there. So Boaz is not being set up. He's not the victim of some clever female plot. He's not being entrapped by these women. That this marriage, as we know is going to happen between Boaz and Ruth, is, if you like, a love match. They meet by chance, as people used to in the old days. People used to meet by chance. And as it so happens, they have something in common, as again, people who met by chance. And he says to his reapers, "The Lord be with you." Obviously, this was the way people greeted each other in those days. And they said, "The Lord bless you," back, which is nice to know. That's how people greeted each other. We greet each other at the end by saying goodbye, which means God be with you. Don't forget. So we once used to do this. Boaz said to a servant of his who was in charge of the reapers, "To whom does this young woman belong?" Interesting. First of all, why did he notice her? Well, he noticed her because she was new. He'd never seen her before. She stuck out somewhat as a newcomer, and of course, she was beautiful, so he noticed her. To whom does this young woman belong? He's immediately asking, is she married? Does she have a father? Does she have a husband? Does she have a brother? Does she have a father? He's asking about the brother-father thing. It's basically because if I were to marry her, to whom do I apply? In other words, and then he's told, this girl is the Moabitess, the one who came back with Naomi from the plains of Moab. She said, "Please let me clean up what falls from the sheaves behind the reapers." Thus she came, and here she stayed, with hardly a rest from morning until now. Hard worker, says the servant, hard worker. So, he gives her a seal of approval. And, of course, this is a girl, the Moabitess. She doesn't belong to anybody. She belongs to Naomi, I suppose, but she's a freelance female. She is not got a father, not got a brother, not got a husband. She has no male protector. She's got no family. Now, in the days when everybody had a relative, of some sort. The idea of being a completely unrelated person with no family at all is very unusual. She must have had family she left behind in Moab, I suppose. But here she's got nobody. Now, in highly traditional societies like Saudi Arabia today, if you are widowed, you go to your nearest male relative and you live with him and he looks after you. Even when your nearest male relative may be a third or fourth cousin who you've never met. So in other words, every woman has got a protector. But it also means, unfortunately, in Saudi Arabia, every woman has got a jailer. That's what it works out as. But here, of course, the men are to provide for the women, not to be their jailers. But the fact that she's alone in the world, as indeed Naomi was alone in the world, obviously brings out something protective in Boaz. He likes her, he spotted her, now he finds out she's alone in the world. He doesn't just spot that she's available, but that she's alone in the world, and he feels for her. Boaz said to Ruth, "Listen, my daughter, you must not go gleaning in any other field. You must not go away from here. Stay close to my work women. Keep your eyes on whatever part of the field they are reaping and follow behind. I have forbidden my men to molest you." Now, he's got a female team working for him, and he's got a male team working for him. And, men molest women, don't they? In other words, who's this girl? Oh, she's hello, wolf whistling and things like that is what it means. And he said, no, you are under my protection. Please don't interfere with her. I am looking after her. So Boaz extends his protection to Ruth, which was rather an important thing in those days. And if you are thirsty, he says, and don't forget boiling hot and a very dry country, if you are thirsty, go to the pitchers and drink what the servants have drawn. So you could be one of us from now on. And if they say to you, "Oh, what do you think you're doing here?" "Oh, I've got permission from Boaz to drink from this pitcher." And so Ruth is overwhelmed. Ruth fell on her face. Now, this is not play acting. I'm convinced this is not playing. This is completely sincere. She's overcome because somebody has shown her spontaneous and unearned kindness. I mean, why should he care about her? She prostrated herself and said, "How have I attracted your favour for you to notice me, who am only a foreigner? I have no claim on you, but it's so kind of you to have noticed me in this way." Boaz replied, "I've been told all about the way you have behaved to your mother-in-law since your husband's death." Because obviously, as you remember, when they came back to Bethlehem, there's a huge amount of buzz of gossip. Turns out this gossip's turned out to be rather a good thing because her reputation has gone before her. "I've heard about the kindness you've done to your mother-in-law, so I respect you for that. And how you left your own father and mother and the land where you were born to come to a people of whom you previously knew nothing. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord." So in other words, the personal, her love for Naomi, has become the religious, something that God is going to reward. Moreover, providentially, thanks to these chance encounters, Boaz is going to be the bearer of the reward for both Ruth and Naomi. May the Lord repay you for what you have done, and may you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come for refuge. Now you've placed yourself under the protection of the God of Israel. And now an Israelite, a good Israelite like Boaz, is acting as God's representative in extending protection to you. So Boaz is a good Israelite. He recognizes his fellow Israelite, and he realizes the fellow Israelite has needs. That's why people are allowed to pick over the field. And he makes sure that Ruth has special treatment. The charity of Boaz, which is slightly motivated, of course, by the fact that he likes this girl and that he's a bachelor, the charity of Boaz is to be commended. The welcoming of the stranger, of which we hear so much. This is to be welcomed. Now, at this point, remember what we're told about Ruth, the Moabitess. Oh, some girl, the Moabitess. Hard worker, though. At this point, the Moabitess, even though she's originally a Moabitess, she is welcomed into the fold of Israel. And the Catholic Church, if we can just go forward a few centuries, is like that. It doesn't matter where you come from. You're a Catholic, welcome, come in. make yourself at home. Very, very important that we extend a welcome to people from other cultures who follow the same religion as ourselves. We must be charitable to all people, but we must be charitable above all. We need to start somewhere with the people who are members of our own church. And sometimes you go into a parish church and you know nobody, and of course, you come out of the parish church and nobody's spoken to you, and that may go on for 5 or 6 years, even though you're living in the parish a long time. The truth of the matter is, we don't, as Catholics, go in for love bombing people, but we must, at the same time, make people welcome, smile, offer a hand of friendship, and so on. Say, would you like to come through to coffee? Hello, you're new here, and things like that. So Boaz is a great guy, this Boaz, and he said, he gives her a glass of water, doesn't he? Which is exactly what Christ says. If you give a glass of water to somebody, cold water, for the for the love of God, then you will get a rich reward. And she said, "My Lord, I hope you'll always look on me with favour. You've comforted it and encouraged me, though I'm not even the equal of one of your workwomen." These workwomen, you see the muscles on them; they're really good at doing the harvest. I'm just an amateur. But you've comforted me and encouraged me. Comfort, encouragement. It's so rich, the book of Ruth. We've just done 13 verses. It's so rich. Comfort and encouragement. We all need comfort and encouragement. Boaz, I think, is a sort of type of the church. Are we comforting and encouraging each other? I don't know. All the best for now. We'll carry on with this later. Bye.